compared to November, and still down in 2022. This is the act of having an increase at the beginning of a period and then building on that and keep that because you're going up each year. And since the original higher front loaded than the current one that's proposed, it was put it off. So things, you can see it decreased the salaries in the beginning and then it adds them in as we go further through the years in the forecast. Most notably also is then under the retirement and insurance benefits, the February is at 3.4 million compared to 3.2. We had the spousal exclusion going into effect in 2020, but it didn't with negotiations. It went to a later date. So we didn't see the savings, but we didn't have the increase in the salaries that would offset that either. So the bottom line, if you look at the lower right-hand corner, the difference between what was proposed and what we had projected in November is a little higher, but not a lot higher than the outcome after negotiations. And it's about $84,000 difference over the 5 years. It just spreads it out differently.
So just for my clarification, Mr. Hoskin, does the February 2020 forecast that you show us tonight, that reflects what the increases would be relative to the contract that we may be voting on tonight?
That is correct.
Okay.
That's the instruments we were using as we went through negotiations.
Any other questions? Okay.
Trying to read what's the bottom right hand corner of the bottom on there?
Which month?
It's grayed out at the very bottom.
Which February or November?
16, February 2000.
February is 4,216,236.
At the very bottom?
Yes.
Why does it look like 60? 16?
4,216.
No.
236.
Under 14.010.
That's what it is.
What is that number?
Yeah, 4,216,000.
Okay, 4 million. Okay, it's so small. And
It is
white,
very.
the marker whited it out. So
Oh, okay.
4 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
216, 236.
The same.
Anybody else? Okay. On to the approval of minutes. Resolved that the minutes of the March 18, 2020 Board of Education meeting be adopted and all action taken by the Board of Education at said meeting is reaffirmed and approved.
So moved.
Second? Oh,
Second.
all right. Questions, comments?
Mr.
Okay.
Singer, that was you, correct?
No.
Oh,
No.
Mr.
Slattery
I'm
and-
sorry.
Well, actually, I
And
probably can't. We can't. But I wasn't.
You can second.
you can second
I
it.
can second
You can second it. Mr. Hoskin, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
I have abstained.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mrs. Barton.
Yes. Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter into an agreement with the Cuyahoga Community College to qualify students for College Credit Plus during the 2020-2021 school year per the attachment. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Have a second? Okay, Rob, seconded. Questions, comments?
Yeah, this is a pretty standard CCP agreement. We've been doing some of these the last couple of months. This is with Tri-C. We have several students who take classes through Tri-C. Actually, we have many students who do that. So this basically establishes floor numbers for how much we get charged on.
So then we get a better rate then, correct? By
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, the per hour rate is, I think, probably like $40 at the very
Okay.
for online courses.
I have a question, Dr. Blackoff. The qualifiers for those entering into this program, will that change or will it be modified?
Explain more clearly.
Well, not everybody can take these classes.
Oh, so if that's your question, then yes. If you take a class at Tri-C, then you're basically, if you take it through CCP, you're entering Tri-C. So whatever their entrance parameters are, they need you to take this test or this test or this test. They're going to ask you to do that, and you have to hit their markers for that.
But it's their test, not the state test.
No, that's correct.
Any other questions, comments? Mr. Huskin, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Roper?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes. Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education approves of the resolution to approve and fund proposed collective bargaining agreements as noted. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion, please.
Second.
Okay. Questions, comments?
Yeah, I don't really know where to begin, but I guess I'll say a few comments about it. Certainly much time, energy, work has gone into this tentative agreement between the Board of Education and the Teachers Union that's here in front of you tonight. This resolution reflects actually two agreements. So it reflects one agreement that is a 2-year agreement for the years of 2018 to 2020 through the end of this school year. And then it reflects a second agreement that starts with this school July 1st of 20 that runs all the way to June 30th of 23. So it's a 3-year. So just so it's in, you know, it's in front of you. I believe overall these agreements, they're fair to our community and they're also fair to our teachers. As Mr. Hoskin talked about, it reflects some long-term savings in our healthcare, but I think it also provides some fair increases to our dedicated teaching staff as well. I want to thank, the board team, including our council, Matt Markling, Mr. Hoskin was a part of that, Mrs. Kalish, and obviously Mr. Slattery joined us as well on that. So I appreciate that. I want to obviously thank the EDA leadership for their hard work through this. So I look forward to a continued kind of strong working relationship with our teachers. So I put this in front of you tonight.
Thank you. Anyone else?
First one to speak here. It doesn't look like anything that I've seen when I left the board 4 months ago. That's my opinion. All right. It actually, to be honest, the first time I saw it was about 2 hours ago. And I had my own rule. I will let everybody know this. I have my own rule. I need 48 hours to look at a contract. I think I spelled it out to everybody that's on this board. And right now, I haven't had any time to discuss this contract with any of you. And I want to let you know that up front, okay? It's been, like I said, almost 4 months. And I think this contract doesn't look like anything when I left. That's my opinion. All right, so I'll let everybody know that up front. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Mr. Hoskin, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
I'm going to vote no, but I'd like to say why I'm voting no. I understand that it's not, this isn't a question, this is more of an explanation of why I'm saying no. With the uncertain economic environment going on right now, the levy being pushed, the contract, the percentage of the budget that it represents, and with the forensic review being conducted in Treasurer's office, I don't feel comfortable voting on any financial contracts at this time, so I will be a no.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
No.
Mr. Roper?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
No. Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the employment of Diane Dunlap, classroom assistant, effective 3/16/2020, step 3, appendix B, 4 hours per day for the remainder of the 2019-2020 school year. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Yeah, Mrs. Dunlop is a classroom assistant in our preschool. She had already been starting in there, but this kind of solidifies her employment in that particular spot.
Anyone else? Mr. Hoskin, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Roper?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes. Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby accepts the resignation of Linda Etheridge as CATS Program Coordinator effective June 30th, 2020. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Yeah, this is unfortunate. Mrs. Etheridge has took on this position just this year. She's done a nice job with it. But I think just due to time constraints, she's unable to continue on next year. So this is one of those positions we're probably gonna have to post pretty quickly because it's an important one for us.
Do you have any takers? Anybody interested?
You know, I think people are just probably gonna realize now that it's even gonna be open, so. We're gonna have to post it internally and see. Hopefully we'll get someone with it.
Mr. Hoskin, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Roper?
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck?
Yes. Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the resolution accepting the amounts and rates commencing January 1st, 2021 as determined by the County Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the County Fiscal Office as noted.
Motion.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Any questions, comments?
This is from the county office?
Yes, yeah, the Budget Commission, determines what our rates are and.
Standard yearly?
Standard yearly, yes. They change only when a new levy is added or a renewal has been added, or been approved by the electorate, and then they revise it to include those if they expire in that year.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'd just like to say, I know I didn't comment on the last couple resolutions ago, but just to clarify my stance, I have made it until the forensic accountant is done with his findings out of the treasurer's office. I can't in good conscience go forward voting for anything out of that office. So that is part of the reason why I'll be voting the way I am with that. I want to give that clarification. So, and I do agree with what Mr. Slattery said, and I understand what Mr. Neal said, and I agree. I understand what you said. Mr. Hoskins, can you, anyone else?
I've got a comment as well. Mr. Hoskins, could you comment, what's the impact of this resolution not passing? Will this stop all funds coming to Brooklyn City Schools?
The tax rate
Tax,
resolution? Well,
will this impact us receiving money?
yeah, this is required that the board approve these and be submitted back to the county fiscal office by March 31st of this year. It's nothing that anybody controls. It's saying that these are our rates. These are what has been approved by the electorate. These are our levies that are out there, and the board recognizes that those are the rates and approves those rates for the county to collect the monies that are due to the district.
So what happens
Without that,
if we don't approve it, the county doesn't collect any taxes?
yeah,
I just want to let you know, I want to put that on record, that if we don't vote for this resolution, the Brooklyn City Schools may go bankrupt because we're not going to get it.
I would just like to say that until a forensic accountant is done with his work, I cannot vote for anything, and I said very clearly, I
And
will.
when is that going to happen?
I don't know. I
Why
can't,
don't you know? You get a date?
they gave us, I spoke with him, and he said he does not know when he'll be
So
able to.
what is it, December, November? We're gonna run without money?
I have no idea. He tried to get in here this week and wasn't able to get in, is what he said. On Monday, he tried to come in and was not able to come in. So,
Why is
and
this
then I
Why is this
asked,
the first time I'm hearing about this? Why is this the first time I'm hearing about this in this board meeting?
about what, the forensic
The
accountant?
forensic accounting deadline. You said deadline.
No,
I
I didn't
assumed it
say,
was gonna be this week.
I made it very clear. When we voted, back in February, when we voted for the non-renewal of Mr. Hoskins, that I would not vote on anything coming from his office.
That's fine.
That
So
is what I'm
when
saying.
is it gonna be done?
They can't give me an answer. They try to get in here on Monday and they come get in here. I asked Mr. Hoskins on Monday, I said, who will be in and when? I don't know, Bonnie. And when I asked him, they're your employees. You should know when they'll be in the building. He told me, well, Bonnie, he got offended by that question. So I can't give you an answer when that gentleman is trying to get in our building to get our public records. I can't tell you when he's going to be done. And he said, it depends on what I find. He said, I've got to go through everything that I need to go through. I can't tell you if it's going to take a month, if it's going to take 2 months. But he did say, until I can get in that building and start getting some of your public records out of that building, it is not going to be finished.
So that means if he's not done with the forensic accountant, then we can't pass a resolution to accept, if the levy passes, which we all hope it does, therefore we have to accept the findings of the voters, which will pass the levy. That means if that's not done, we can't vote to accept the levy money. Is that correct?
No, you can vote with whatever way you so choose. I'm only one vote. I am only one vote. I can only in good conscience, since we're gonna have this discussion, when I have people coming to me saying the bills aren't being paid, when I have people saying that we get shut-off notices, when I've been told that all of our secretaries get collection calls, when I've been told that companies won't come into our school district to service our equipment because we owe them so much money, I can, in good conscience, when I received whistleblower complaints from people in our district telling me their accounts have no money in them when they should and they don't know where the money is, I can't, in good conscience, enter into any agreement spending the money. I don't know where it is. And I said very clearly, this should not be a surprise. I made it clear to everyone back in February. I don't trust what is going on in our treasurer's office. I cannot, in good conscience, vote on anything that comes out of his office. That is why we have a forensic accountant now looking into everything.
So when you signed a contract, Bonnie, you didn't get a deadline? You didn't say this report will be done in
How can he give a
week,
deadline?
2
He doesn't
weeks,
know. If
3
he
weeks?
finds out, it's like an onion, Rick. He may come in there and find out, hey, 2 weeks that you don't have any problems. He may get in there and start going through things and he said, I asked him, do you have a general timeline? No, I do not. Then that was Friday. Then on Monday when he called and said, Bonnie, and he talked to Matt and he talked to me, I want to get in there. Why can't I get in there? I said, well, I'll find out. I called David. David told me he didn't know when people were going to be in his office this week. He said he was coming in today. That was the best he could do. Because I said, when are people from your staff coming into your office? You should know. You are in charge of them. You should know when people are coming into your office. Since you don't, the forensic accountant can't come in. He can't do his work. I can't help that. I can't give you a timeline if he doesn't let him into the office to get out all the documents he needs. Like the credit card bills, when our credit card for our school district is being declined all over the state of Ohio. He needs those documents. I can't help that.
So this is something that we don't know when it'll start, when it'll finish. So we're supposed to go by. I don't have a problem with forensic accounting. I have a problem with the fact you signed a contract without knowing when these people are going to do the work and what they need. Mr. Hoskins, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Are the credit card bills paid?
Yes, sir.
Paid on time?
Yes, sir.
Then why is our cards getting declined?
I don't know that I have no information that our cards are declined.
Has anybody not been
Oh,
paid?
no one has
Nobody's
gone
ever
to you.
declined.
No one has gone to you and said that the cards declined, because I've heard this from your staff. So we're gonna have this and we're having it right out here.
Well, I want to ask the treasurer, because he's responsible for the bills. Mr. Hoskins, has anybody shut off service to the schools?
No, sir.
Has anybody threatened to shut off service to the schools? Have we gotten shut off notices?
There's been a notice on a bill.
A bill or multiples?
I don't know.
Because I've seen multiples.
So we've been shut off for anything?
No, sir.
All of our bills been paid on time.
Good question.
Have all of our bills been paid on time?
Ever? Recently?
In the last 18 months, let's say that.
Yeah.
All? No, they've never all been paid.
No, we're asking during your term. You don't know what happened during Marty, Todd, or John Streets. I'm asking you to speak for you. You don't speak for them. Because if we want to speak for that, we can talk about how the fact we used to approve the month after it ended. We didn't even have it a month to approve on the last board agenda, and when I did look at the board agenda, it said August 2019. So how many of our bills are being, are we getting collection calls from companies?
We have received a couple of calls from, well, I've received one call from FedEx, and we don't even have a bill from FedEx.
Okay, so you're telling me you don't have a bill that comes every other week from FedEx, and you've
No,
received only one phone call? Then,
FedEx,
I'm sorry, then, you're the whistleblower complaints that absolutely said that they're getting multiple phone calls. They had bills every other week that they are forwarding to your office. Something isn't adding up. Does anyone else want to speak up here and talk about things that they've heard? Because this is not what was articulated to us.
Well, I shared at a board meeting, there's the gas company, there's the copy CompDoc, that we were on a do not service list due to outstanding balances. Gordon Foods, the exterminator. I mean, you said there was one notice. There's none of the secretaries or none of the employees of this district are forwarding emails that they're receiving to you. And I'm asking you truthfully, because the information we're hearing is that it happens on a regular basis, that they're just forwarding, that they were actually told to stop, that we know about the late charges. And some have even claimed that they were told by you that we don't pay late fees. I mean, that's the boat we're in right now. And that's why we're voting individually how we're voting. I mean, this is unfortunate. It really is.
It truly is.
So let me get this clear. If this vote doesn't pass, we get no money from this county, correct? Is that the way you understand it?
that's the way I understand it.
Then I think we should proceed with the vote. Is everybody, Jim, you're okay? Madam President?
Yes.
I see you need to move it
These
forward.
numbers,
We
these
can have
numbers,
this conversation in other business. Do you want to keep it going?
These are the numbers from the county, not my numbers. These are the numbers from the county.
Anyone else? Mr. Husking, can you call the roll?
Mr. Slattery,
no.
Mr. Singer,
Yes,
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Ober,
Since this has nothing to do with anything going on in the treasurer's office, yes.
No. Other business? Do you want to go on? Did you have something to say, Mr. Slattery? You said you were going to start, you said something you were trying, when we decided to go on with the vote. Were you saying anything?
Oh, no.
Okay. Anyone else have any other business?
I do have something, Madam President. We talked a little bit about CATS employees tonight. I have a request, and I want to just hear what the board wants. Our CATS employees are not covered by a negotiated agreement with our district. They are hourly employees. I'm requesting, but I'm asking obviously permission of the board to continue to pay them throughout the end of the school year, however long the closure goes, at their base rate per hour. So, I don't think you can vote, but you can talk to me about that and we can determine that. I mean, they're hardworking employees, they're hourly, we're not talking about a huge exposure to them, but I also want to honor them in terms of, their hours during this extended closure time.
Dr. Glykoff, I have a question for you. Are they making $269 per week?
Oh, I think that they, our CATS employees, they're hourly. We've got probably about people that make about 3-4 hours a day. Is that correct, Mr. Hoskin? So do you know the
couple before, a couple
Can we
after.
find out?
The real question is,
Can
do
we
they
find out?
qualify for unemployment compensation under the new rules in the state of Ohio?
I think anybody who is employed would be eligible for unemployment, according to the revised lax, the rules are a little lax.
Yeah.
And immediate, my understanding is that there's not gonna be the wait period. When you normally go on unemployment, you sign up, but you get a 2-week lag there before you get any benefits. My understanding is that they've eliminated that even. So
So I think what you're asking is would they be more beneficial to have?
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
do we get to from when they left to when it might be the end if they never come back? See what that cost us. Because there's probably some savings in the transportation we don't have to use on them as well too, correct?
Correct.
So
Now, we certainly.
it's
aren't
not
paying
as
for
bad,
extracurriculars.
you know, and I don't think those people make a ton of money, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Between what they may get from the government, from what I saw today, and what they might get in employment, and just, I think it's a math issue that we all have to deal with, and I think we have to be fair with them.
You bring up a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. Neal, because there will obviously will be savings in transportation. You know, shared services transportation, we get billed for what is being transported. And certainly as we had a closure as of, what's that, March 13th, where we haven't done anything. So you're right, there is gonna be
Should be some
significant,
savings.
plus you're not gonna have the extracurricular
Correct.
costs that are attached to that. So,
How does this affect the bus contract?
well, it really doesn't. I think that's the point, is that, you know, we contract for what we need. And so essentially, we're not getting billed anything.
What we need or what we use?
Well, what we use, you're right.
Anyone else? Anyone else? I would just ask, aren't they only gonna get half of their pay if they go on unemployment though? So if they,
I think they actually,
I think they're going 100%.
I think they get 100%
they do,
Because of this situation, I think.
because they are.
I
okay,
heard a
because they-
rumor they changed.
and
And the reason why I say that is because it'd be better, again, with unemployment, you go with incident rates of using unemployment, stuff like that. I don't know if it affects the district or not, but it's probably an even Steven. I'm guessing based on the new rules, I don't know what those are. I think we need to do a little more research, a little bit more research on that they might be better off applying for unemployment because there might be more benefits there for them than staying on payroll with us. That's all I'm saying.
Anyone else have any thoughts?
Unless there was a counter proposal proposed today that, for example, if a person in South Carolina makes $20 an hour, they get $800 a week gross, they would get $326 in unemployment. And one of the counter proposals is to tack on $600 per week for everybody, so it would cost more for them. They would be better off if they stayed on unemployment. They would make more money.
So what I think I'm hearing as far as the cats thing is sort of a wait and see kind of thing.
Well, I think it's
Somewhat, you know what I mean? I think we should be fair with them.
Yeah,
Can
I
we
think
keep
it's probably
paying them
talking with
in the
them
meantime?
to determine what is the best case scenario for them.
Can we keep paying them in the meantime? Because
Sure.
my opinion, since I'm waiting, somebody else has anything to say, and then I'll say, anybody else have?
We
anything
could
to
go
say?
and do another pay period, certainly do that.
We have the authority to do that.
Sure.
I agree with Bonnie, because we really need to make sure that there's a continuous cash flow for them.
And I think, I appreciate that, and I know they would appreciate that.
Yes, I don't want anything to,
Our pay period ended on the 20th. So, they worked up through the 12th. So they'll get paid on this pay for sure for the days that they worked. And then,
Yeah, and even in, I think in the next one, they would have been paid for 6 of the 10 days already.
Yeah.
Because we had 4 days, we had 2 calamity days, it was the 4 successive days. But what I'm hearing is, let's pay them for those extra 4 days and then talk with them and determine what might be best for them personally, financially. So, okay.
that seems to be changing every,
Well, and again, we're getting new direction, new orders, as we say, every day.
Do with Congress.
I
So,
would just like to do something that wouldn't harm them.
so I appreciate that.
That's
Yeah, I
just my
think
opinion.
going forward,
We'll
we should.
proceed with that. Thank you.
Anyone
That's
else?
all I have now.
Anyone else?
The only thing I would like to say, going back to the teacher's contract, I've always had a rule, again, 48 hours. I had a contract that I okayed that I really looked at when I got home after and didn't really look at it. And I'm uncomfortable with it until I have something in front of me. I've only been back on the board for officially about 4.5 days. So I want to let everybody know that. All right.
Anyone else? Announcement of the next regular meeting,
Then we have other business.
that's other business.
Oh, that was other business?
Anybody else have any other business?
Yeah, I just, Dave, I've not heard back from you. I don't know if Jim has, but, we've asked for a finance committee meeting. And we need to schedule something because, the conversation we had today is committee business. that we had in the board meeting. And we really need to sit down and have a finance committee meeting, to maybe go through the weeds so that we can comfort some of the people who are concerned. And I'm very concerned about this contract that we have. And I'd like to see some kind of closure, at least to know that our office is cooperating with them. And that we have a schedule of these people coming in for forensic accounting. And I think we need a finance committee meeting to just kind of get everything back so we can report, Jim and I can report back to the board for that meeting. Can we do that?
Sure. Yes.
Is
Why,
it-
you don't have to ask me.
I was gonna say, I don't think that's Mark's, finance committee.
I don't think I'm, I think it's a group of four, it's not me individually,
Correct.
so.
Do that even, you know, we could even do it through Zoom or virtually too, so.
Yeah, that's, all I ask is that we have a finance committee meeting so that I'm not blindsided by the fact that we don't know whether these people started or in the middle of it or at the end of it.
I'll have David send something out to the four of us, tomorrow on some dates.
One other thing too is, my committees, or committee, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what Mary Lee was on.
She was on wellness.
Wellness, and she was on rec board.
Right,
Wellness
she
and
was on
rec
rec board.
rec board and wellness.
Rob and I had a little conversation the other day about the rec board. He'd be willing to take it. If you're still willing, I'll trade you something for it if there's something to trade or whatever. I'll go sweep the floors if you need, whatever.
Well, if you want, it's the, and this is with.
You guys, this is, whatever you guys wanna do, this
And
is.
you were on it, so it'd be a perfect fit, the discipline and, yeah, security, safety.
Yeah, I was on that. I'll take that. I'll take it off your hands.
Okay, and then I'll take the rec board.
All right, and then I'll have wellness.
Yes,
Because the only one I have is, facilities and domestic violence. So,
thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to square that away and I forgot about that part of it.
Anyone else?
Last thing, I promise. I just want to thank my fellow board members for supporting me. There's going to be some times where you may not thank me, but all right, I thank you. But no, seriously, I'm glad to be back. I think I can help out here as well too. All right, and I said that in December when I left that if we needed me back, I'm back.
it probably should be stated, for the other two candidates that did apply, we did interviews with everything, and it was a unanimous decision by the board with everything we have, and with the experience of Mr. Neal, that he was the best choice to running, and but they were both, the other two candidates were very good. It was a pleasure to meet them, and hopefully they throw their hat in the ring again.
Thank you. Announcement of the next regular meeting, Board of Education meeting is Tuesday, April 21st, 2020, in the Media Center in the Brooklyn Intermediate Elementary School, 9200 Avenue at 6 p.m., Brooklyn, Ohio. And can I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion. Second.
Second. Mr. Huskin, can you call the
Mr.
roll?
Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Roper?
Yes.
Mr. Barcheck?
Yes.
6:49.
Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's see.